No, Pete?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm sorry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our city council meeting. Today is March 6th, Thursday. It is 10:04 a.m., and I call this meeting to order. And if we can have the record reflect that we do have a quorum. And if you don't mind, I will move to our invocation and pledge of allegiance. And you don't mind leading us in our invocation?
Oh, sure.
And then Mr.
Sure.
Molina with the pledge of allegiance.
That's fine.
All right. Join us in our invocation led by Councilwoman Mrs. Sandra Bowen.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today to thank you for the blessings you have provided and the many to come. We ask that you continue to be with the city of Alice as we keep moving forward, Lord. We ask that you continue to guide us and direct us in all that we do and all that we say. In your holy, precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Everyone, please face the flag. Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Molina.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to public comments. I don't see anyone wishing to address our city council. Before we move on, I do want to read some of our policies. Sorry, I'm trying to put this on so I can read, but my headband's not. Okay. Under public comments 3.1, citizens who wish to address the city council about items on the agenda which are scheduled for council action will have 3 minutes to express their position. Let me see. There is a form there, and I just wanted to clarify for just to let the public know if they do wish to speak. We do have some guidelines, and we do have them posted at the entrance for everyone to preview and view. One of the things other than what I just read is all presentations and discussions should be directed to the city council and all questions to the mayor. Any complaints and or discussion about individuals, personnel, council members, city staff, or other persons would be out of order and will not be heard by the city council at this time. Charges or complaints about specific individuals shall be presented in writing to the city manager. All complaints of this nature must be signed and dated by the individual filing the complaint and will be addressed pursuant to Alice personnel policies. And there are a few others, but I wanted to just read that so that if anyone wishes to speak during public comments, we do have some rules and decorum to keep our decorum. And I will, since there's no one wishing to address city council at this time, council members, do y'all have anything you wish to, a public comment or announcement, sir?
Right, a point of order.
Yes, sir.
Since you just reiterated the actual rule that we have.
Yes, sir.
We had gotten kind of off the rails and allowing people just to speak, but your adopted rules here at council is about agenda items.
Sure.
And so we need to limit comments by council, even if it is a public comment section in regards to agenda items.
Correct.
And that would probably be best if they wait until you actually call the item.
Okay,
So it has some benefit, right?
okay. Well, thank you for reiterating that, and it is new and I'm trying to get back.
Most definitely.
Okay. So we do have something that was left here, so that's something we cannot announce at this time. So we'll do that on our own time. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 4, presentation and discussions. 4.1 is presentation and discussion regarding street improvement plan.
And Mayor and Councils, we've been working on this project for a while. We know we've been doing past few years, a lot of infrastructure improvements. And with that, we end up tearing up streets and doing minimal repairs because we knew we were getting to a point where we're going to have to do a bigger plan for street improvements. And so Waylon in our engineering department has been working with our staff to analyze streets and come up with a plan for street rehab. So he's going to give this presentation.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Council. This is, just as Mr. Michael just explained, we've been putting together some numbers and looking around the city of Alice to see what kind of streets need attention. This presentation does pertain to the streets of the city of Alice. We looked at 4 different types of repair to do. The rehabilitation efforts we're looking at are a full-depth reclamation, resurfacing, water damage mitigation, and improving drive quality. This just explains how we determine what streets need to be fixed. It's not a subjective matter. It's more of a systematic way that we go about doing this. We use the present serviceability rating. It's that in itself is subjective. We have qualified personnel, that would be the members of the engineering department, and we drive the streets and assess the visual condition of the street as we're driving it, as well as the road quality. Using the PSR, we assign the street a number from 0 to 5, and that's how we determine if the street needs repaired or if the street is nearing a repairing phase. 0 being the worst condition of the street, 5 being the best condition of the street. This explains a little bit more in depth of what the PSR ratings mean from 0 to 5. 0 would be a street that's non-existent. There's no driving surface. It's difficult to navigate a vehicle down the road. That would be something that would require probably a large pickup to navigate the road. A small car would not be able to traffic. Number 1 indicates that the road would have some kind of surface material left. However, the surface material is highly degraded. We would be seeing large potholes, and navigating the roadway would be difficult. 2 would be a moderate degradation of the driving surface. It would be bumpy. You would be able to navigate a small car down the road. However, there would be mobilization of the base material. That would mean that the road is beginning to sag. We start losing the crown of the structure. 3 would be your standard aged street. 3 would be an aged street that does have a few bumps and cracks in it, but however, it's still easily navigable. Between 4 and 5 would be an almost perfect driving surface. That's something we would look at on an interstate highway. There would be little to no degradation, a few cracks, and the road would be nearly perfect. There is no way to achieve a rating of 5 because of the subjective matter of the PSR rating system. It takes a panel of people to rate the roads, and then from there we compile them. A 5 would be an absolutely perfect road. 1 does not exist. Depending on the size of the panel, there's no way to achieve a level 5 on these roads. What we have here is a few of the streets that we drove through the city of Alice. We can see there's sort of a bell curve that we have here from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. We are seeing that the majority of the roads that we assessed are in that range. Here on the next slide, it does explain that we want to look at repairing a road when we fall between a 2 and a 3. This slide just shows what we have here as far as preliminary estimates pertaining to the types of repairs that we're looking at doing. Starting all the way at 25 cents, we have 25 cents per square foot is a 2-course chip seal. We've been doing that kind of work here around the city of Alice. On Front Street, we actually did do a blade level up in 2-course chip seal. That's the result of that type of work. The next thing we have is the reclaim base and chip seal. We've seen that kind of work on King Street. On King Street, we completely reclaim the base material, blended in all of the material on the surface, and reset the road completely. From there, we have a 2-inch hot mix overlay. What we would do there is go ahead and use the street zipper. We would take all of the no good material off the driving surface, level it up, and reshape it with 2 inches of hot mix asphalt. That would give us a slightly better drive quality than doing the reclaim base with chip seal. Finally, for the $8 a square foot, we have full depth asphalt repair. What that allows us to do is completely remove the base material in the road. In roadways that we see a 1 to 2 PSR, we would benefit greatly from using a full depth repair. We would be able to remove all the contaminated mixed base material and reapply the base material. Doing a full depth repair correlates to structural number. It's an engineering term that we use when we're designing the roadway itself for longevity. The structural number is made up of depth of certain kinds of base material as well as their coefficient. They have a coefficient of structural bearing capacity, and we use that number to determine how long the roadway should last. Finally, on the top, we have the cost variable is full depth repair, including utilities. We do include utilities in the street repair program because, as we've seen before, South Reynolds Street was performed, some maintenance and repair was performed on South Reynolds Street here a few years ago. As soon as that repair got done, the gas company came in and cut into our roadway, and it caused quite a few areas of patching. Over time, that patching allows for water to seep down through the cracks, and that really softens the base material, and it leads to degradation of the road in a much quicker manner. This is what I was talking about here, the structural number we have up in the corner. Structural number correlates to the depth and the structural bearing capacity coefficient of certain materials. The M stands for a drainage coefficient. When water passes through the roadway and it seeps in there, depending on what kind of base materials we use, the drainage coefficient plays a part in how strong that material remains. On the top right-hand side, we have our AASHTO 1993 flexible pavement structural design. The answer we get from this equation is a log value correlated to the number of 18,000-pound axle loads that can travel over the structure over its lifetime. So what we have there is PSI similar to PSR. We also have our structural number and a couple other factors in here that we use, such as a term to do with that variability. It would be a variability. I can't. The word escaped my mind.
You're all right.
So that's what we have here. It just that's how we determine what kind of base materials we need, as opposed to how long the road will last. This is why we actually want. Do we really want to move towards doing a full depth repair on the road, so that way we can control how long that road should last.
Right.
For this project, we've looked at it. There'd be no way to repair all of these roads at one time. There would be too much construction going on. We would have to handle this project in phases. We spoke about and looked at breaking up this project into 3 separate phases. We would divide up the city of Alice into 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west. And from there, we would try to keep the center of construction moving in 1 quadrant at a time to keep from having too much construction in one area and frustrating the citizens. This would be the map that we have here. We talked about doing some kind of utility repairs as well as the street. What we see all over in the purple is the street repairs. These are all of the streets that we drove down, and we went ahead and took some information regarding PSR. We also have water, street, and sewer repairs, and a few of them, that would be a full reclamation of the road itself. We would dig down, repair all of the sewer, water, and street. A few of the streets do have satisfactory water or satisfactory sewer in the street, and we would just be replacing the other utility as well as the street work. For phase 1, like I said, we focus on the southeast corner of the city of Alice, really around the industrial side of Alice as well as the southern side of Alice. We have a lot of street work to do in the southeast corner. We also try to focus on the small sewer and water repairs as well. We broke it up in that sense, so that way, while we can have a subcontractor or the city of Alice working on the street repair, we can also have a subcontractor or the city of Alice doing utility repair at the same time. That way, we can kind of shorten the span that we're looking at completing these projects. With phase 2, we focus on the northwest corner of the city of Alice. This really focuses a lot on just street repair. A lot of the work here we've already replaced a lot of the utilities in the area, so we're just looking at repairing the streets themselves. We do see a couple of areas like West Hill Street that requires all of the repairs, utilities, and street. Again, this is solely in the north side of Alice. This would be phase 3. This would be the same thing. We're trying to break it up to where we have an equal amount of street repair and utility repair, so that way we can have two portions of the project happening at one time. Like we've been talking about, we have utility repair, just like we spoke about with South Reynolds Street. We want to focus on repairing the utilities while we're working on the street, so that way we have no utility repair. We would have no reason to cut into the streets. Cutting into the streets really affects the longevity of the driving surface, and over time we can see degradation happen, and it just makes a lot of sense that if we're to create a new street, we would like to have new utilities underneath as well. Here are just some preliminary numbers that we had as far as estimation for the utility repairs. Water fixtures, depending on the size and length of yard line required, were anywhere between $1,000 to $2,500 per installation. Fire hydrants, depending on the length required, plus valving and other kind of taps required, we're between $4,500 and $7,500 per fire hydrant replaced. Sewer fixtures are slightly cheaper. There's less valving included. It's just a rubber boot that we tie into our sewer lines with. What we have there is anywhere from $500 to $1,000 depending on the depth of tap. When we talk about depth of tap, water services are anywhere from 2 to 4 foot deep, so there's not much digging there. Depending on what kind of sewer we're replacing, be it a trunk line, be it a house service, we can be all the way up to 20 foot deep. And that really affects the price of the tap itself. While the materials are inexpensive, the labor itself becomes quite expensive at 20 foot deep. The same thing happens with manholes. Manholes are highly dependent on size, depth, and number of connections. There's simple manholes we have here in the city of Alice that are only 6 to 8 feet deep, and they have an in and an out. We've also seen some manholes that are anywhere from 10 to 12 feet deep that have 4 or 5 inlets, and those are very labor intensive to install. It would be too hard to put a number on something like that depending on a 4-foot manhole versus an 18-foot manhole with multiple connections. So that's something that needs to be considered on an as-per basis. The metrics that we're looking at so far for what we have laid out as far as the 3 phases that we've identified, it's going to be 98,278 linear foot of driving surface, which is 18.61 miles of new driving surface. The sewer line that we're planning on repairing is 19,800 linear foot of sewer, including manhole and services. Finally, the water repairs, the city of Alice does try to keep up with our water line as much as possible, and it only requires 3,500 linear foot of water, including all fixtures, hydrants, and services. In that 3,500 foot, there is quite a few hydrants, which does highly affect the cost of our installation. And we're doing some more investigation on this. This has been across our desks quite a while, and we're looking at getting some more work done here, some better values. It is broken up into 4 different phases. This is just the preliminary phase. This is phase 1. We're identifying that we do have an issue and that we do want to correct it. The second phase we have is going to be an engineering and estimation phase. That's where we get engineering teams involved and we determine the amount of the type of fixes used on each of these roads to use any of our budget to its peak performance. If a road only requires tar and chip rather than a full depth reclamation, we would like to identify that in the estimation phase. The third phase would be the financing. The third phase, we would look at having a plan in place and how we would go ahead and finance it. And the fourth phase of this project would be the implementation. We would be finding subcontractors and determining where to purchase materials to carry out this work. Like I said, this presentation was the preliminary phase. We've identified that we have an issue and we're looking for a solution.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know it says discussion, so is it appropriate to ask our council? Council, you have any questions in
I just
reference?
appreciate the thorough presentation there, forgot one word there, but no, just kidding. You're obviously a lot more intelligent than most of us here, all of us here. Thank you for that, appreciate it. Anybody else would have probably taken 2 hours to run down that. And, good job, Waylon, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Bone?
Yes, thank you again for your presentation. It's something that has been discussed several times. The city manager knows I've been in this office about this as well. Is there any way we can get an electronic copy of your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that's okay, Michael? Okay.
Sure.
Because some of it, is hard for me to read. Sorry. But thank you, it was very thorough. I appreciate it. Looking forward to
post on our website
replacing our
also.
roads. Oh, good.
Because, this is phase 1 of a 3-phase phase 1 of the 4-phase project, but within this, there'll be 3 phases of the repairs. But, and we just would probably update that part to show what this is.
Yes.
The, identification, assessment, and preliminary engineering part of it.
Wonderful. It's a lot of work, I know. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Mr. Garza?
Hey, Waylon, thank you for that presentation as well, and for doing your job so thoroughly. Would you consider this a new, I guess, future master plan for our roads? That way we actually have something on schedule. That way when people say, what are you doing? This is it. We've got a schedule, we've got a plan, this is what we're working on.
Yes, sir. I would consider it a master plan. I would say it is a plan that we have to implement to fix the streets and utilities of the city of Alice. I would say once we have an engineering estimation and we have the actual plan in effect, then I would say it's a master plan. At this moment, we do have some ideas, possibly changes, possibly different areas of street work. And that's to say I wouldn't consider it a master plan as of now, but once we start on phase 2, then I would consider it a master plan.
Awesome, awesome. Also, have you all put into consideration the utilities? You were mentioning that they cut up the blacktop, well, then it degrades the road faster. Have we thought of moving the utilities to under the sidewalk, getting them out of the road in general? That way, if there is any further breaks, then we don't have to tear up the roads. We can go through the sides.
I'm glad you asked that. That's something we're actually doing right now. For the Virginia Street project, we've discussed with the LJA and the engineers to see if we can move those utilities outside of the roadway. So that way, if we do have to do a repair, it's within an open ditch. It's somewhere else that's not going to affect our roadway.
It's possible in some places just not possible.
Right.
But yeah, we we had talked about that at length.
That's great. That's great news then. I had one more thing that crossed my mind real quick. Just out of curiosity, I know it costs a little bit more, but it may last longer. Have we thought of possibly repairing our heavily traffically used areas with concrete instead of blacktop? Or is that even feasible for our area with our ground shape?
Well, the feasibility in our area, we would have required quite a bit of sub-base removal. We have a lot of black dirt in the area. It swells and shrinks with the seasons and the water. That's really a detriment to to concrete itself. Around where the joints are and where it gets put together, that's where we see lifting and falling. That's why in this area we opt for asphalt. It's a flexible base material that offers enough movement to deal with our land shape. It is something that is possible, but I believe economically it just doesn't make sense here due to the amount of base work that would be required to facilitate that.
All right, thank you. And I bring that question up because that was a question I've been asked before. So,
So, on that, Councilman, so there's been one place where we have done that out on Corner Road, off one of the side roads, when there was a lot of heavy traffic with 18-wheelers and large equipment and trucks. And so we did do a small section to be able to have a concrete base for the turning that would cause a lot of problems. But most of this is, residential and in streets that aren't going to have that kind of heavy traffic, right?
all right, no, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Waylon, and I appreciate all the time and effort, and I know finance has worked with you on this, or with Mr. Esparza, so thank you all so much. I'm sure our citizens would appreciate knowing that we're working on a plan for our streets. We know we have issues, so thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. 4.2, presentation and discussion regarding improvements at sporting and park facilities.
Right, Mayor, we're going to Mike Chapa present this, our Parks Open Spaces Director, and he's been working with Jennifer quite a bit on getting a lot of these things done, and so I think you're going to like what you see on a lot of the improvements that have been made.
Okay.
So, good morning, council, good morning, Mayor.
Good morning.
Up on the screen, we're gonna have a little slideshow of what we've been working on the past several months. We're calling our campaign Back to Basics, which is a project that focuses on the fundamentals of our recreational fields. We identify deficiencies, prioritize improvement, and maintaining integrity and upgrading our facilities has been in full force since late 2024, early 2025. The fields that we focused on were New American Field, Girls Fast Pitch, West Field, Kickball Field 1, 2, and 3, El Bosque Field, Buena Vista Field, Soccer Field, and East Field. Each field has been evaluated and restorations have been achieved to include the following: light repairs to include burned ballast, burned bulbs, disconnected wires, and I think you can see some of those pictures up there. Some of the irrigation repairs that we made were, I think we did valves, sprinkler heads, added zones, stuff like that. We did do some fence repairs throughout the fields. We did some leak repairs inside the restrooms. We repaired some concession stands to include the replacements of windows, countertops, cabinets, sinks, and water heater replacements. Some of the plumbing deficiencies in the restroom facilities included sewer smells, leaking sinks, and faucets repaired. We did some leveling to our infields with a field conditioner and red dirt. We purchased a new score boxes and upgraded scoreboards, adding additional surge protectors to help with the grounding and whenever we have lightning strikes and thunderstorms. We repainted bleachers, dugouts, concession stands, and the yellow step-up boxes. We spread out fertilizer and seed. We removed the old scoreboard at Del Bosque and replaced it with a new one. We purchased new yellow fence guard to increase visibility to protect our players whenever they're out there playing on the fields. We purchased all new bases, purchased backstop padding to shield players and spectators by absorbing the impact of stray balls. We utilized herbicide on the fence lines, under bleachers, around concession stands, infields, sidewalks, and by the fields. And then, of course, we did ant treatments done in and around all mentioned facilities. And these pictures here should show all that we just kind of went down this list. There's before and after pictures. Like that picture that'll show where, the water wood pond a lot. That area's got filled in with red dirt and conditioner. The next slide shows a before and after of the concession stand. Got painted, got new sinks, new countertops.
That's the one at Westfield, Mike?
That's at Westfield, yes, sir. Girls fast pitch. We did put in conditioner on the infield. Of course, you can see the improvements with the sprinkler system addition, where the grass is green, not too many ants. There's the padding that we put in. Got the city logos. Staff is doing a lot of this work. We did get some subcontractors to help, like this picture here, where Spectrum came in and put surge protectors and grounding facilities to, let these scoreboards operate throughout the game, throughout the season. Here you see a picture of before and after of painting. I think we replaced some boards also. Same thing here, some more painting.
Every day they're making improvements
Right.
to what they went out and did. And same thing, an assessment of what needed to be done and how to improve it, how to make things safe. That's the first thing you looked at, is the safety of all the fields, and started working on that, on those issues, and then on some of the sprucing up of things that needed to be repaired. And it's been, every day they're doing something.
Every day, yeah.
In the concession stands, over time, the concession stands got old and dated, and Mike and his crew have been, eating away at it every day.
And this is aside from the guys' duties, that they do every day, the mowing that they do, just their everyday duties, that they incorporated all this stuff also. So they've been busy. So I want to say thank you to the staff.
We appreciate all the efforts, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And I know those that utilize our fields are appreciative of these improvements.
So
And
we
I
have
know-
gotten some good feedback from the leagues, the coaches, the representatives. Everybody's excited with what they're doing, and they're seeing some of this stuff. So we just want to, keep moving forward and utilize funds, the way they should be used, and
we
some
appreciate
repairs that
it.
need
Yes,
to be
sir.
done.
And Mayor, it popped up there, but people don't realize how many years that scoreboard at Del Bosque.
It had
Right,
been
I
a
just read
while.
that.
That scoreboard
5
was
years.
replaced, and I can't remember, I think it was the Optimist Club that replaced it when my children were playing T-ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it hadn't been replaced since.
Yeah.
And just so council can know, and Mike has been working very hard at this, but due to the change, the legislative change allows us to spend hot funds, that we're able to use some of those monies to take care of this. And so, you know, I mean, it's a great initiative.
Council? Mr. Beltran?
First and foremost, thank you, Mike, and your team and your staff and everybody for the hard work. I know that it's probably long overdue, a lot of the stuff, and it has to do with budgeting restraints and stuff like that. But
We're excited.
yeah, so we thank you for your efforts, and I know a lot of these things take a very strategic eye, and it takes somebody that knows what they're doing to be able to accomplish these things in a way that's efficient and effective. I know that some of the, like the puddling around the fields, that's
That was a big issue, yeah.
that's a job.
Yeah, so we leveled it up with, like I said, red dirt, then an overlay of conditioner, and it's holding up a whole lot better now, so,
Great.
yeah.
And obviously all the painting, the scoreboards and everything. So it's just taking care of what we have, you know, and if all we have are these fields, and let's maintain them, take care of them, and take pride in them. And I think that's the tone that we're setting back. And as long as we get good reception, you know, from our public, and if anybody out there in the public has any recommendations, suggestions, how to better improve our fields, and
We'd love to hear them.
let's do it. Let's hear them.
We'd love to hear them, yeah, we.
And we need to build a good rapport with our sports people and all these people, and figure out a way to combat these issues that we have and that we observe. And for now, we'll maintain what we have, and we'll paint them, and it looks great. And good job to you and your team and staff and everybody. I know this is a big group effort, not
Yes.
just. And so congratulations with all these new improvements, and
Yeah.
I'm sure the community is thankful for that, and we're thankful for it, so appreciate you.
And we want to keep going forward, you know, we've got some other areas that we'd like to pump some funds into, of course, if you guys approve it. Eastfield being one of them has no lighting, so the overflow of everybody that's gathering at, Mora Fields needs lighting. Eastfield is kind of cluttered already by the girls that are doing flag football, then you've got,
Right.
you know, 10 and under football, 12 and under football boys, 14 and under, so it's a little cluttered, so we'd like to get some lighting if we could
Right.
at Mora Field, but, you know, of course, that takes some funds. The old Boys and Girls Club, we'd like to do some improvements over there also, so we just, you know, need y'all's approval, and we can keep, you know, going forward with all these improvements.
And I know that there's a lot of things that are coming up and you guys are working on, and like I said, it just all has to do with our funding, and I know John had mentioned that some of this stuff was being able to use the hot funds, which is great. And you know, it's just, it'll be a continuation. I do know that, and I'm excited to see what else we have in store. So.
Yeah, and we work real close with finance as far as the do's and don'ts. You know, Mr. Ansaldúa is always coaching me as to, hey, you can use it here, you can't use it here.
Correct.
Of course, we'd like to buy brand new trucks and brand new zero turns with it, but we can't. So we try to follow the bill to the T. You know, we
Right.
want to stay in compliance.
To the code.
I know Mr. Limon has briefed us on what we can and can't do.
Sure.
So it's a big effort, and we're just excited that, you know, we're able to do it. We have the vision, city manager is allowing us to do it, and, you know, we're excited. So it's just a team effort from everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Molina?
Yeah, just the same, just piggyback there, you know, just appreciate your, you know, your initiative, your engineer. I've known Mike for many years, you know, and just to bring you on board, kind of like, you know, Jay out at the golf course, you know, somebody, you know, with a different vision and looking through a different lens and coordinating, you know, obviously being directed by Michael, and then, you know, Gabriel. Just like I said, it's refreshing to see these photos and to see all this going on, because a lot of us don't know what's going on. I mean, we just kind of pipe in from time to time, but I know it's been a long time coming. But appreciate you taking the reins and running with it, man. And all the other ideas that you have in mind, obviously, we're very receptive to whatever you have to offer, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Mrs. Bowen?
This is amazing. I mean, I know we talked before, here at City Hall, when you were telling me about how excited you are and all this work you're doing, and you and your crews. And I appreciate every single minute spent on this, because I know it's a lot of work on the side of what y'all are already doing, on the workload y'all have.
That's correct, yes, ma'am.
I know I expressed that I had a different vision of using the hot funds, and Michael knows, and Patrick, we've been working since day one on a different vision.
We're receptive to any vision.
Right,
We're
right.
receptive to anything.
And there's a few things that, I still want to bring forward, but this is amazing. This is stuff that should have been done a long time ago, but I know it was hard. You're carrying over, all this stuff that should have been done, but you know what? It's getting done now, and that's what matters. It's getting done now, and our community is being blessed for it by your efforts. So
And we want the community to enjoy the facilities and their kids to enjoy the facilities.
right, exactly,
And,
exactly.
have safe,
Now,
nice facilities.
The soccer field over there by Anderson Park, there was a bunch of stickers and stuff. Did we manage to take care of those stickers?
So that field has no irrigation, so
Oh,
we can't apply herbicides to it
Okay.
currently. That's another thing that we're looking at. So that field has an old irrigation that ties into the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And the pressure at the golf course is very high for the sprinkler system that's in that soccer field that you're
Oh,
mentioning.
goodness, okay.
So I've talked to city manager about maybe if we could tie in a regular city water there, so the pressure can come down. But that's why we haven't applied to
I
more.
see.
We're looking at also trying to see if we can scale down the pressure
Right.
before it gets to that area. But on that, so making improvements to that field or lighting. So once again, like the street project, this is a multi-phase. What we've
Yeah.
done is phase one, which is the safety, cosmetics, and the usability of what we have right now. So get that out of the way, and that's what he's been working on all this time. And the second part is going to be the improvements and the upgrades with the approval of what you guys want to see as a vision. And so we have a plan that we're going to present to you guys that was developed at the end of last year.
Okay.
So we're about, I think December and first part of January, we finalized
Okay.
some kind of idea of some improvements to the parks and the sporting fields. And so that's going to be presented. You guys can decide how we want to move forward on that. So the last phase is going to be implementation. So this is part one also.
Great.
We're going to get
That's-
part two
thank
so
you
we
for
can
that.
get on those.
Thank you so much for
We're excited
that.
about that, about
Yeah.
phase two, so.
Yeah, me
stay-
too.
Stay tuned.
And so we also want to work with the Boys and Girls Club to see what their vision is for Memorial.
Right.
So if we talked about Mota Field being a soccer field, it's for Boys and Girls Club soccer. And so that's going to involve the irrigation and the lighting if we want to do that. And those are some, lighting is a higher ticket item. But if Boys and Girls Club is going to use theirs for soccer, then we may want to rethink what we're doing over here. So we're going to work with them as far as an overall vision of what they plan on doing also for the
Wow.
future.
That's good. That's smart business there. That's great. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. What are we doing with the fence at Anderson Park? That soccer field? I mean, not soccer field, the baseball or softball fence. Remember, remember I had mentioned a long time ago about an open concept where
Yeah,
that part
I
of our
think-
phases?
That's going to be where you guys decide something like that on this
Okay.
phase two. Yeah, we,
Because I know the football kids are practicing there.
we have our ideas from an administration level of how things need to be, but ultimately you guys are the elected officials that should determine, how our parks, what we're going to use them for and how they're going to be. And so, our job right now is to present that to you, but also make sure everything's safe,
Yes,
usable,
definitely.
and it looks nice as well. And then phase two is going to be you guys making those decisions on what, what park needs to be what, and
Okay.
how they're going to be utilized as well.
Wonderful. Appreciate it.
Tell us what to do.
I know I'm
Pick up the
jumping,
football and run with it.
I'm jumping the hurdles too fast, I'm sorry. But I'm excited about it because it's something that's been ongoing. So
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
excited. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Seriously.
back there, thank you so much too. Yeah, definitely. You and your crew too. Thank you. And you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Garza?
Just wanted to say thank you to you and your crew for a job well done. It's amazing what a little bit of dirt and paint can do, right? Unfortunately, all of that was because of a derelict of keeping up with it. Hopefully now we can keep up with it a little bit by bit. That way we don't end up in the same situation we were and have to dedicate so much time to refixing everything.
Correct.
Just to keep up with the premeditated or the maintenance that's needed and everything, and you know that we're here for you. So,
Appreciate that.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Same thing, just excited about moving forward. I know y'all work hard. I know everyone works hard, so thank y'all so much because I see what y'all do out there, and a lot of times you don't get the accolades and stuff, but it doesn't go unseen. So
We like that.
thank
We like that part more than being up here.
y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you, guys.
4.3, presentation and discussion regarding Spider Tech software by Chief Eden Garcia with the Alice Police Department. Hello, welcome.
Good morning. Mayor, council, city manager, city attorney, thank you for having me here today. Just real quick on Spider Tech, it's a program that we've been after for over a year. We did receive a grant. It was funded through the Council of Governments for an amount of $20,000. There is a cash match that we'll have to come up with. It's $4,000, but we have it. And so we've been working on this. I'd like to thank IT. And it's for our victims and sending out notifications. But I know that this is something that we have put together and we're trying to get it going. I did talk to the Spider Tech people this past week, and that's why it's on the agenda. That we're almost concluded. It's coming to a conclusion where it'll be able to activate it. So I just want to let you know that it's not forgotten, and we're almost there. So it's coming. So I just want to let you know on that. I know that's the question that I've been asked. So I want to let you know. So thank you. Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Beltran,
Any
anything?
questions?
I have nothing. I just continually thank you guys for your service and your men, and I know that you guys have been busy
Every day, sir.
every day. So we just want to thank you, and our hearts go out to you guys and our prayers. So
Oh, thank you, sir.
Sure.
Mr.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Bowen?
Chief Eden, AKA Fireman. Thank you for this, as well as you and your crews being out there, your team, helping our fire department as well. Appreciate you very much, all of y'all. Stay
No,
safe.
we're a team, so we're there to help.
Stay safe.
Doesn't matter where you need us, we'll be there.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Garza?
Just thank you and everybody that you've got working in the department for all the hard work that they do. It is noticed. We appreciate it. And kind of on a personal note, if you don't mind my saying, I've had a couple of people ask me about this, so I figured I'd bring it up. On the police cars, is there any way that you can put the Protect and Serve and God We Trust on them?
So we can put the protect and serve? Yes, sir. We'll look at that.
Hey,
And
perfect.
the other, we'll look into, don't get me wrong, I'm oh God, right? I pray every day, but let me see. There's some hurdles that we may have to go, because I know other agencies have it, but we'll take a look at it, that I promise you.
I
It's on,
appreciate
it's
it.
on our currency, so.
It's on our currency, so,
And I just bring it up because
No.
I've had other people ask me about that.
of course. No,
Thank you.
I'll make sure we look at that. But protect and serve will be going up, I promise you. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you
Any other
so
questions?
much.
No problem. Just real quick.
Thank you for-
Oh, just a big shout out to Gabriel. I know that he goes through a lot, and he don't take notice, and his staff for everything they do for us. So thank you for them, and because they've helped us with so many projects, and this is one of them that they'll be helping us with. And sometimes they're always at the back end of things, but thank you to Gabriel and his staff. Thanks.
Thank you, and please convey to our police department, our officers and our staff, dispatchers, and I know it's a little off of the agenda item, but
That's okay.
our fire department, awesome response, and you were there, y'all were key also, so thank y'all so much to both our police department and our fire department. Thank you for the fire, for protecting us.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
That's what we're
so
for.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, agenda item number 5, consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the governing body so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and voted on separately. 5.1, discuss, consider, and act upon approval of city council minutes for the February 6, 2025 city council meeting. Council,
Mayor, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, council. Agenda item number 6, individual consideration. 6.1, discuss, consider, and act upon a resolution that denies an increase in revenue and a change in rates proposed by CenterPoint Energy Resources Corporation, DBA CenterPoint Energy NTEX, and CenterPoint Energy Texas Gas, authorizes continued participation in the Texas Coast Utilities Coalition of Cities, representation of the city by special counsel, intervention in proceedings related to CenterPoint's statement of intent, and requires reimbursement of municipal rate case expenses.
Mayor Henio with CenterPoint Garcia couldn't be here today, so John's gonna.
This is the standard group resolution. What it does is you all object to CenterPoint raising their rates. It pauses them for 45 days, allows our attorneys to negotiate with their attorneys. CenterPoint winds up having to pay for that negotiation, and generally, we come out ahead. So our recommendation is you go ahead, and actually Henio, who works for CenterPoint, always tells us to go ahead and object to it as well. And so our recommendation is that you all approve the resolution objecting to the increase in rates.
Okay, council, I'll entertain a motion at this time in reference to this agenda item.
Mayor, make a resolution, make a motion to approve the resolution as stated.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. 6.2, discuss, consider, and act upon adopting a resolution to approve and adopt the Jim Wells County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan update, and by appointing the mayor with the responsibility, authority, and means to inform all parties of this action, assure the Hazard Mitigation Action Plan update will be reviewed at least annually, and that and any needed adjustments will be presented to the city council for consideration.
Thank you, Mayor Council. Patrick Chalmers is gonna present this item.
Okay. Hi.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Hello. Good morning.
So, Hazard Mitigation Plan is a document that identifies hazards that potentially could happen to our community, and it identifies the hazards, and it gives us a guide on how to address those hazards and prepare for those hazards. And so this plan is a document that we use. It's a multi-jurisdictional plan. So the plan is, when I say multi-jurisdictional, it covers the city of Alice, Jim Wells County, and our Alice Water Authority. So the process for creating this plan is pretty lengthy. It was almost a 2-year process. It involves public hearings, public meetings, private meetings with businesses, with just all the different. There's a term for it that's slipping my mind right now, but they're people that it could potentially affect. And so we have to get all those stakeholders. That's stakeholders. So we had to have stakeholder meetings with every stakeholder that's a part of our community. And so the process was pretty lengthy, and we did hire a consultant to handle this for us, and that was paid through a grant through the state, through the Department of Emergency Management. And so the grant paid for the consultants. The consultants guided us through that process, and we're at the final stages of this process. This is the final stage. The plan has already been reviewed by FEMA FEMA's approved our plan, the state has approved our plan, and FEMA's approved our plan. So this is the final step. Once you pass this resolution, we'll be in compliance and ready for the next 5 years.
Okay, council, any questions? Mr. Demko?
I have none, Chief, but thank you
Mr.
for all the work you
Oh,
put in
sorry.
this past week, and thanks for keeping us safe. Appreciate it.
No, I've none. Good job.
Mrs. Miller?
Thank you. I know it's a lot of work. I've been looking at it.
Mr. Garza?
No questions, thank you, and thank you and everybody that's out of the department for all the work they did yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Y'all really went above and beyond. Thank you again.
Thank you for the hard work, I know. And we had some really good participation from the stakeholders.
Yes, we had hospital, the college, residents, just random
Yeah.
residents that took interest in it, would show up to the meetings and express their concerns. And we used a lot of historical data to create this plan. So it did take a lot of leg. Even though we had a consultant doing most of the work, it was a lot of legwork and gathering information from myself, the city clerk's office, finance. Everybody was doing a little bit to put this. The consultants really just kind of grabbed it and put it all to one document.
I have one more question. This plan, how good is, how is it, what's the word I'm looking for? When will you come back to it again to review it again? I mean, how
Annually,
long?
we should
Yeah.
be reviewing it annually.
Annually? Okay.
We'll take a look at it and see if there's any. We can always adjust it as we go.
Yeah, because I think
It's a guide.
situations change, some
Correct.
things.
It's a guide, and when funding opportunities become available, the idea is that when the state and feds have funding availability, we take this plan and we address projects that are already identified in this plan.
Okay.
So, but just because a project's not in this plan doesn't mean that we can't address it.
Right, that's what I was thinking too. You can.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a living document. We can adjust it as we need to go. And, yeah. So, but on an annual basis, we should be reviewing it.
And so when changes need to be made, does it come to council for the approval of the changes, or how does that work?
It would have to go to TDEM.
TDEM
TDEM
first?
would
then
there's a
FEMA?
little process, but yes, you would be involved in that process as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So if there's no further discussion or any questions in reference to this agenda item, I'll entertain a motion.
May I make a motion to adopt the Jim Wills County multi-jurisdictional
Jurisdiction.
yeah, I can't, hazard mitigation plan update, and appoint the mayor with the responsibility, authority, and means to inform all parties of the action, assure that the hazard mitigation action plan update will be reviewed at least annually, oh, there it is, sorry, and that any needed adjustments will be presented by to the city council for consideration. Sorry. There it is there.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, Mr. Molina?
Robert, whatever.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
6.3, discuss, consider, and act upon approving a memorandum of understanding between Jim Wells County and the City of Alice for the cost of labor and materials for a water line extension, 2,200 feet in length, which will serve the Real Multimodal Transit Facility located at FM 1554 Alice, Jim Wells County, Texas.
Mayor and Council, Martino Noles with Realis here to speak about this project, his project, and also how this affects the project that he's doing and how he got to this point. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, Mayor, City Council, Mr. Manager. If I may approach, I don't have a presentation. I just have a slide.
Thank you.
So rather than a full 10-minute presentation, I'll have. Good morning.
Thank you.
I'll have one for you, and then
Here you go.
I'll dance for the other 3 minutes. But this is just to show you exactly the area that we're specifically speaking about, that is what this item pertains to. And that is on 1554. The county currently has the funding and is waiting for an approval of extension of the line from McMaster's westward on 1554 to the southeast corner of where we are initiating the construction project. The county has agreed to cover the costs to extend the line from the opposite direction, starting on Highway 281 Access Road eastward on 1554 to adjoin and create a whole connection loop of the water in the area. The extension line being proposed here is the 12-inch line, whereas on the east of that is an extension of an 8-inch line. However, by creating the loop, it truly recognizes the forward-thinking leadership of both Jim Wells County and the city, in knowing that the investment in the area will spur additional economic growth, which we anticipate. We're very grateful for the consideration for the city to take this leadership on. I know I've been working very closely with Manager Michael Esparza in getting this before you. We think it is very doable, very practical, and very cost-effective, and I think that's the key, very cost-effective. Had we proposed through the county a possibility of an 8-inch line, and there be economic growth in the area, there would be a reconsideration of that line needed to be upgraded to a 12-inch line. The cost at that time, current estimates would be easily $200,000, and that's extremely conservative. And so we think a $40,000 investment now upgrading from an 8 to a 12 it's wise, it's forward-thinking, and truly supporting potential growth in a robust area that section will hopefully continue spurring towards the future. I'd be happy to answer any particular questions, but what you see in the slide, the area that's in teal, that's the actual distance, it's 2,200 feet. And the county is ready to sign, if haven't already signed, and proposing it to the city to ready to sign, because we need water. We need water in more ways than one, right? Desperately need water, but in this particular project, this is the life-saving to allow us to continue moving forward at the speed that it needs to. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And I'll give you all just a little bit of background, because Mr. Ornelas, he won't tell you all this, but he's the one that's making all this happen. So we have to approve water that's going to be outside the city limits, and he's building a real nice facility out there, and so we don't want to have a dead-end line. We would require flushing, and for what they're doing, we were begrudgingly saying, yeah, I guess we'll try to do it. And he said, well, what do you really want to see? Well, we really want it looped. Right. And he's like, well, let me work on that. So then he goes and he gets some funding for the looping. It's like, okay, so, an 8-inch line is fine with us, but a 12-inch, of course, serves as a facility even better. Mm-hmm. So, he's been just working to make this happen and making sure that our needs were protected as well from the city. So he's been good to work with. He went to the county, presented, got this done. So, we wouldn't be here today being able to loop that if he wouldn't have taken the lead and made that happen. And so, yeah, we appreciate everything that you're doing on there. Yes. We're offering to do getting paid for the labor, but, we do water lines and sewer lines all the time. It is a lot less expensive for us to mobilize than to get a contractor to come out. So that was kind of our agreement. We'll do the work, but we need to get reimbursed for the work that we're doing. And so he got that done too. So, yeah, we appreciate everything that he's done and everything that he's doing for our community. And I know personally, Real is my aunt has used them, and I never had the opportunity to use them, but I know that they have, and I've been impressed with how quick they are, how responsive, and it's they're an asset to our community.
They definitely are.
And how organized they are also.
Well, it'll certainly become my mission to get you on one of our buses and get it on film. And
got it.
We have the Alice Rancho Alegre flash service that is growing
That's a flash service. Yeah,
exponentially.
there you go.
So
And
waiting
just
for
to
my
give you
ride
a
along.
bit of data, we were targeting 1.6 passengers per hour, and we're at about 4.6 passengers per hour.
I see you
So
guys
the demand
everywhere.
is high.
It's wonderful.
As soon as we hit the 5 to 6 passengers per hour, we're going to have to add an additional vehicle to meet the demand. We've already projected in the next 30 days an extension of the time that we could extend from 7 to 3 all the way till 5 p.m. our Real Flash service. and the demand appears to be there. So we're very glad to be able to do that. But I appreciate those comments, Mr. Esparza, but I truly want to let this body know, the council be aware that we unfortunately were not aware that we were in what is called, now I have learned, an ETJ, extraterritorial jurisdictional thing, right? And when that came to the forefront, you need to be aware. Michael, his staff, permitting department, Ms. Monsivais, Wayland, Mr. Ansaldua, everyone has mobilized at such speed that I cannot think of a better facilitator of bringing an investment into our community like the staff that has supported us. You must be very, very proud of the staff that you have, because they truly, if there is a rolling out a red carpet for business to come and invest in the city of Alice, I have an amazing example to show you, because this has taken place at a speed that we are astounded. So much so that it has not delayed our construction project in the least. And with the partial permit we have secured as of yesterday, Friday was a critical time, but everything mobilized in such a way that it just made the greater facilitator for us. And so we're absolutely and will always be forever grateful and will remember. So please be aware of the staff that you have. That is truly an asset to the city and to economic development.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for those words, because a lot of times we don't get to hear those, but thank you so much.
So if anybody else listening, other businesses want to come into Alice, Alice is a great place to invest, because the systems are in place to move things permitting forward. And we already have on our calendar inspections that are taking place. So truly, in advance, had we known, we would have done it much earlier. But under the situation when it happened, it just moved quickly, efficiently, and effectively. So this is government working at its best. So we do want to tell you, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
We appreciate you too.
Sharing that.
Yes. Council, anything else, Mr. Beltran?
Well, thank you, Martin, for what you're doing out there. I know you've been at it for a long time, and you've been very dedicated. And those kind words to our staff is very meaningful to us. We've also heard same testimonies from other builders. Chick-fil-A, for example. They build Chick-fil-A's everywhere. They said this is the best place. They got treated the best here in Alice, Texas.
That's right.
We tell everybody, come to Alice, we'll roll the red carpet out for you.
That's right. That's right.
And give us a shot. And Michael and his staff is doing a great job, and we're very happy, and I'm glad that you got to experience that. And I'm glad you vocalized it, because people need to hear that.
That's right.
And other contractors need to hear that. And we're just very proud to be part of the community and part of the growth. And we're excited for you and what you're doing. So thank you for all your efforts.
Absolutely. Be aware, Councilmember Beltran, that if at any point you need us to take the message to other potential builders, we'd be more than happy to do so. I think that what is critical is that the magnitude of this project created that level of magnitude of responsiveness by the city, and people must know. It was very responsive, and it moved at the speed that it needed to.
And this mechanism that Michael has created just didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen by mistake. This is a very strategic mechanism that we've been working on for years, on listening to contractors, listening to suggestions, recommendations, and complaints. And it's a correlation of all those things that we've been able to compile this system, put in play to be able to serve you better and serve anybody that comes in here better. And we pride ourselves on that.
Absolutely.
And we will continue to get better as it happens, as time goes on. But again, it's very important that we hear those rebuttals from and those things from you. And we're looking for a 5-star rating for our community.
Absolutely.
In that aspect of it, in every aspect. So thank you for that. And it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to Michael and his staff, because sometimes we only hear the gripe end of it, which is fine. That's also very good, useful information. But it's also feels nice to hear
Absolutely.
the gratitude.
Absolutely. Mr. Thomas, Chief Thomas, he gave his cell phone number
Right.
to our superintendent on site. Everything moved smoothly. Mr. Chapa, he's already let me know when you need for the inspections. We already got that programmed, and it's very proactive. People must hear the message. It is a great place to come. And when you find a hurdle, and that was a new hurdle for me, I was so blessed and so surprised, not because I doubted the ability, but I was surprised because I have no basis to know how to handle when situations like this happen. And the example I have is of efficiency and effectiveness and responsiveness. So be aware. It's an excellent, excellent message to take to others outside of our city, because I do believe that is a message that others need to come in with investments and say, this is a great place to build and build an economic
Put
development.
in a letter for us. Or
Yeah.
Absolutely. I will
Put-
absolutely
Put
follow
it
up.
good, yeah.
Thank
And,
you.
and Alice is here to help as, Jim Wells County is here to help as well. We're both here to help.
Right.
And, that's what we do, so.
Wonderful.
Let us help you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
just had a couple of questions, Martin. On this, this picture here, what's the significance of the blue and the green?
The green is what has already been done by the county. The red is what is being proposed from an existing 2-inch line to a change order that's already before the funding authority. I believe it's GLOW, that will be upgraded to an 8. That approval hasn't been received, but that will also be an 8-inch line. And the teal or the blue on the left is what we will be doing with your partnership. The current red existing 12-inch line is where we're tapping in, moving eastward, and eventually connect our 12-inch line to a future 8-inch line. And we don't know the timing of that, but with us starting on the west side, it would allow us to be able to adequately construct.
So the blue and red right there at your facility, that's going to be that's going to transition to 12
That
to
is
8?
correct.
Got it, okay.
The center red, where it says existing 2-inch, that will be an 8-inch,
Got it,
and the teal will be a 12-inch.
nice. Now, is this, Michael, is this coming from the Muck Loop, or what's out there?
Yeah, I mean, from there it heads south, well, the multi-use gets water from the other side as well, so yeah. But this loops this area, which is, we need that loop for,
Right.
yeah, for flush, so it's a very good project that,
Wonderful.
It's a
yeah,
win-win.
we had a need and Martin, kind of fixed it for us, and
So, and I'm reading, the county basically furnishes all the materials? We do the
with
work,
material and they'll cover the labor
and
costs.
then we invoice them, right?
Yeah, we invoice.
$42,000 cap, something like
Right.
that?
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
wonderful.
And the other question I had was, any reason why you chose that area to? Facility.
As a result of a study, we looked at about 12 different locations. That was the optimal location based on land availability
Got
and
it.
price.
Got it, sure. I did want to have one input, a personal experience. Just recently, we had a friend of mine that was going to be transported from a hospital in Corpus to a nursing facility, and there were issues with insurance and some nonsense. I apologize, I don't remember, but he wasn't going to have a ride over there, and they were trying to get it all lined up, and there was a lot of other people calling, and then, I just thought about Pam. I just know Pamela as a personal friend. So somebody had her number, they called her up, and she set it up like that. She said, let me make sure we do this, because they actually do that. They actually go down to the hospital, pick him up, take him down there, transport him. And I'm talking like from here to Corpus, back to San Diego, So while right away she called back, approved it, said, yeah, we're good to go and all that. And then in the meantime, we got a phone call saying that somebody's going to have an ambulance take him or something. So we didn't need it after all. But just knowing that was there, I mean, it was just so comforting to know, because this, it was kind of a tough situation. But just wanted to throw that in there.
Thank you so very
job
much.
y'all are doing.
And likewise, we enjoy hearing positive stories.
It's not always just
Other than
it's not always just take me to
other-
Walmart, right? It's just like they're there, So
we
Appreciate what you do.
as a public service, we also get all kinds of calls. It's
Right.
always wonderful to hear those
Sure.
stories, and be aware, council, that what we have is a driver on call
24/7 for those types of situations. They have an hour when they're called to report to work, plus distance travel would have been a 2-hour before we pick them up, but we would guarantee getting them home. And likewise for any passenger that we take either to Corpus or anywhere else, and they miss their return, we'll contact them. If we can't get a hold of them, when they get a hold of us, then we trigger the mechanisms in place to assure residents, we will never leave you there. There are things in place. It may not be, we don't have someone standing by, but be able to call them in, trigger that, and do the response that is required and needed for the public service.
I just wish like more people knew about it, because there's a lot of people that aren't aware of the actual services, y'all. There just aren't. Even when I got here and they did their first presentation, I was like, is that what y'all do? I really didn't know. But anyways,
Thank you, Ms.
thank you. I'm done.
Ms. Bowen?
This is great. I'm excited about this.
I know.
I know. I'm excited about this.
And so I can respond to the mayor, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
Was that our agenda item was to
Yeah.
approve the
Yeah.
MOU, and while I appreciate everything that Mr. Ortiz is doing great for the community.
Oh, I want to praise him too. You're going to cut me off?
Well, but and of course I shut up when he started talking about how wonderful you guys were.
Yeah.
We just need to try to stay to the agenda.
Stay to the agenda? Okay.
Next time you have to throw him in there.
Then it'd be like,
You can call that Clause 23, other duties as assigned.
Well, golly gee whiz. Okay, well, this is still pertaining to the agenda. How do I reword this? I actually have been attending and watching and following you on this. I actually attend city council, commissioners court meetings. And when this was approved, I was excited. I'm excited about it because it's definitely something that is needed in that area for economic development. And I truly appreciate all your hard work. And for Michael to say that as well, it really touches our hearts that you and your team, including you, out there is doing this for us. And I am looking forward to your groundbreaking. I gotta get that in there. I gotta get that in there. So, but thank you. I'm ready when you all are ready.
Mr. Garza?
And I'll just make it quick. Thank you for recognizing our staff for all the work that they've done. We have had changes throughout administration throughout the years, and this is one of the strongest administrations we've had when it comes to working with businesses and getting things done quickly. So thank you for bringing that out to attention. Also, thank you for the location you did choose out there off of 281. It forces the city to grow out there, and hopefully we'll be able to tap into the tax money of individuals passing through and start bringing in tax money into the city. And again, thank you for the location, because we need to start growing out there more. And get ready for that extra car, because I used to own the taxi company here in town, and I could show you through our taxes, we grew all 4 years that we were open. Unfortunately, and I mentioned that we had a different administration back then, my vehicle for hire ordinance disappeared, so my company was forced to shut down. And it didn't hurt me so much as it hurt the people. We had plenty of people using us to go to work. What's funny?
Her face.
They had people using us to go to the doctor's office, work, taking children to school and back. So when I was shut down, they were the ones that suffered. And this morning, I received a call actually again for taxi, and I do get at least 3 calls a day for taxis, and I've been referring them to your number. So thank you for picking up where, unfortunately, I was taken away from helping the people.
Well, I appreciate that, and know that the water line extension is in a location where the facility will be constructed is about where need and strategicness was determined based on a study. What's important to recognize is that it is a connection not just for residents in the city and in the county, but it's a connection to the eastern seaboard, north, south, east, and west. Thus, the future highway I-69 was critically important in making the determination. It would make sense, because in a city like ours, I don't know if we would want a Greyhound bus moving down 44 from east to west on the current traffic. And so it's about strategic positioning of where the facility is. And with this water line extension project, truly validates its critical importance. And as an outgrowth of that is the future economic boom that is anticipated to
Absolutely.
occur. Thank you for your time. You have mentioned the opportunity of our groundbreaking, that is for the water line extension groundbreaking.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you for
There we
tying
go.
it into the
Water
agenda.
line extension groundbreaking on the 13th. If we have not gotten an invitation to you, we do expect to do that. My apologies, but we hope to see you all and your staff join us on that very momentous occasion.
We got him.
Okay,
There we go.
we're,
Wonderful. Thank you so
we'll
much.
come back to our
Appreciate it.
agenda and council, if
No, he
there's,
saved it.
he did, yes, thank you. I'll entertain a motion if there's no further discussion or questions in
Mayor,
reference
make a motion to
the agenda.
approve the memorandum of understanding between Jim Wells County and the City of Alice for the cost of labor and materials for a water line extension, which will serve the Real Multimodal Transit Facility located Farm to Market, 1554, Alice, Jim Wells County, Texas.
Second.
Second.
Okay,
We all second.
wow, you got you.
I got 4 chairs. If you like the voice.
You really want all of us.
I think it was Mr. Bentham.
Do any of
So we have a first and a second.
Would you, before you vote, would you like to explain, whoever made the motion, explain to the people in the world how much money is on the MOU? How much money there is, how much money that the county is gonna pay for this, and the cost of the city is nothing.
200,000?
It's $140,000, it's $140,074 for materials, and then they're gonna pay us $42,000
Right.
for our labor to do the
And labor.
So combined 182, if I'm not mistaken.
182.74.
Thank you.
Okay? Got it.
Are you wanting a modification?
No, you guys
Oh,
did great.
you just wanted it, okay.
Clarity,
Yeah.
Some clarity,
Yeah,
yeah.
some clarity.
to let people know that.
And thank you to the
cost.
county.
Okay, so we had a first and a second motion by Mr. Beltran. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Thank you
We're
very much
looking
again for your
forward
time.
to this. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item 6.4, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're on 4.
6.4. Discuss, consider, and act upon adopting a resolution ratifying the submission of grant titled Operation Lone Star Fiscal Year 2026 to the Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, Homeland Security Grants Division for funds available for fiscal year 2026 Operation Lone Star OLS Grant Program for overtime costs for increased patrol for an interdiction officer and for fire/EMS equipment. B, designating the city manager as the city's authorized official. C, authorizing the city manager to apply for, accept, reject, alter, or terminate a grant on behalf of the city. And D, providing assurance that in the event of loss or misuse of the Office of Grant funds, that the city will return all funds to the Office of the Governor.
And our police chief,
Thank you, sir.
Ian Garcia, is going to present this along with Patrick, but Patrick had to go.
He had to leave, yes, sir. So, as you know, Lone Star, we've had Lone Star since 2021. That's when we started, that's when Lone Star came to pass. This year, we're still working on our budget. I know that we're looking at 300,000 in overtime. I know that Patrick is looking for some equipment. So Operation Lone Star is a grant that we've had since 2021. It'll allow us overtime, equipment, not just for the police department, but also for the fire department. So that came into fruition last year when they put the fire department as part of this grant too. At one point, it was strictly law enforcement. So now it goes on to another chapter. And the reason why we don't have a complete budget on this is that we're still working on our radio project, and we need, we're trying to get the last ends of the details of how many more portables we're going to need, if there's, and so how much money until we're going to need to apply for. But we've been very, and Lieutenant Sines has been very proactive, and he's done a great job in putting this grant together for us every year. And so we look forward to having this for another year. I think we probably hit a little over 1 million this year. And but we're excited, and we thank the governor's office for allowing us the opportunity to be a part of Operation Lone Star. So we're hoping to proceed.
This is a great program, so yes.
It has been, it
And
really
it's
is.
been a blessing for us.
Yes, ma'am. And so this year, as you know, there's 2 grants. There's Border Star and there's Lone Star. They've now incorporated both of them. So we won't have Border Star no longer. So now it'll be just all under Lone Star. So that's why our overtime rate, or the amount that we're asking for overtime, is going to be higher this coming grant, because now we're incorporating both.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ventura?
I'm good. Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Molina?
Oh, thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Mrs. Bowman? Thank you.
Thank
you. Mr. Garza?
Thank you, Chief.
Okay. So if we don't have any further questions or discussion in reference to this agenda item, I'll entertain a motion at this time.
May I make a motion to adopt the resolution as stated in Agenda 6.4?
Second.
Okay?
Okay, Joe?
It's good.
So we have a first and a, is it with your,
I'm fine.
Mr. Gar, okay. We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, agenda item 6.5, discuss, consider, and act upon approving revisions to the City of Alice Retail and Wholesale Drought Contingency Plan.
And Mayor Council, Demetrio Duarte is going to present this item on updates to,
You don't, is everything okay? or-
Well, I'll be right back. Let's have he can have his
Yeah.
presentation.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Continue.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, council, city staff, good morning.
Good morning.
As to item 6.5, request to approve revisions to our drought plan. If you recall, the drought plan was approved and passed April of last year in 2024. The DCP is a state mandated report. It's a responsive plan that addresses temporary drought conditions and water emergencies. It's a business and operating plan as well to protect the city's water supply. As we all know, Lake Corpus Christi and Show Canyon continue to drop. With that being said, it's become apparent that the requested revisions be discussed, considered for approval. This will be the first of several revisions that y'all will be that will be brought up to y'all because of continuing conditions that they exist. And then later on, like we mentioned in one of the last meetings, once we do go with the RO, we're going to have to also make some revisions at that time. The city of Corpus Christi has hired or commissioned a study with Corolla Engineering. Just a little background on Corolla Engineering. They are one of the country's leading engineering firm dedicated exclusively to water solutions. City Manager Esparza, along with city staff, the folks over at City of Corpus Christi and their staff have been in continuous communication over this report, the study, the modeling, forecasting that Corolla Engineering is doing for the City of Corpus. And it's all, what they're trying to do is find out how much water availability is going to be in those 2 water supplies. Now, this is for City of Corpus, so it's not just Choke and Lake Corpus Christi. It also includes Lake Texana, or MRP, which is the Mary Rose Pipeline. They do update City of Corpus every 2 weeks, which they update us, which is on the 15th of the month and at the end of each month. Given the critical levels, there's an urgent need to establish and approve these revisions. Keeping in mind that protecting and preserving these precious resources is our goal. There is much to do, and time is not on our side right now. Just to share a couple of numbers with y'all before I go into the plan. Today's report showed Lake Corpus Christi at 80.4 feet, which is 22.7% of capacity. The combined is at 17.7 with Choke Canyon. We entered stage 2 of our drought plan back on March the 11th, and we were on stage 3 December the 2nd of 2024. Rain totals back in 2020, we're looking at 26 and a half inches. 34 and 21, and 2022 was 20, and 23 was 10.8. Last year was 21.5, and this year, I know we're just getting the year started, we're just in March, we're a little bit over an inch of rainfall. The revisions can be found on page 8 and 9 in your packet of the DCP plan. What's in red and striped is what we're removing. What is in red and underlined is what we're proposing. Any questions at this time?
Council, Mr. Beltran?
Can you come back to me?
Sure. Mr. Molina?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mrs. Bowen?
And who beside you have reviewed and made these corrections or changes?
Mr. Esparza and city staff.
And city staff?
So one of the things that the main thing on here is changing on the water restrictions on turf
Right.
grass. There's that, and there's adding the clause to allow food-bearing gardens and food-bearing trees. Those are a source of, of life and livelihood.
Right.
So if somebody's going to water a garden or water a tree that
Right.
they're living off of, it can be as needed to be able to keep that alive. But anything ornamental or turf grass, we're just to remind you guys, Lake Corpus Christi has three people that draw from there, but fourth person that draws from the outfall, which is Corpus Christi. Mathis, Beeville, and us, we're all drawing from Lake Corpus Christi. We're utilizing our drought contingency plan solely based off Lake Corpus Christi. Corpus Christi has a combined CCR, and I call it CCR and LCR, the Choke Canyon Reservoir and Lake Corpus Christi. And so they use the combined levels on how they determine what stage they're on. Now, we don't control anything that happens at Choke Canyon, so we just look at one. Now, we are talking about bringing forward later on a combined, also utilizing what they utilize, because they want to have water in Lake Corpus Christi so they can have water down the river on the flow. So it kind of one and the same becomes, we could potentially utilize one if we, the combined if we wanted to. But yeah, what's concerning to us is we want to make sure that we're in line with what other people are doing because we're using the same water source.
Right.
And we're allowing watering right now. Mathis is not, Beeville is not, and Corpus Christi is not. And so taking the turf grass off is what the key component to this is at the stage that we are. And as we're going through this, so we, like Demetrio said, we've been talking to, I've had several conversations with Drew Mawley, the CEO of Corpus Water. He wants to come give a presentation. I think they have a workshop today, so he couldn't make it today. But also Steve Ramos, who's our water resource manager, we've been talking to him pretty regularly too. And like Demetrio said, Corolla's, they sent us the report, the volume capacity, when there's zero capacity. And what's interesting is I keep on looking at the zero capacity. You hit no water before you have zero capacity. And you look at like Lake Corpus Christi, if you look at it like a bowl, and it's more like a V, but let's just say you had the capacity in the bowl. Look at a cereal bowl, and you have the milk left with the cereal. Well, you can't get it all the milk with that spoon. Now, if you tilt it, you can, but you can't tilt the lake. So when it's a zero capacity, you're way past. You were out of water before that.
Right.
And the zero capacity, their projections now, they have three. They have one for November of 2025 for the combined capacity of Choke Canyon Reservoir and Lake Corpus Christi. And they have another forecast of March of 2026, and another forecast of May of 2026, and a last one of July of 2026. Now, the November of 2025 is a projection if they were 100% utilizing Lake Corpus Christi Choke Canyon for 100% of their water, and they're not doing that right now. They're utilizing, I think they're telling us it could be in the 57% Lake Corpus Christi Choke Canyon, and MRP, Mary Roads Pipeline, the other percentage, it could be 40, 45. And so that's what they're doing right now. So, but if they had to go to just one, we would all be out of water November.
Right.
Now, by utilizing what they're doing right now, the estimated could be March or April, March of 2026 if nothing changes. So that's pretty quick. Now, you know, they're, everybody around us is concerned now. Now, we're in a different level, so we're concerned because this is what we use and this is what our DCP is based on. But as you guys know, we've been pumping water from that second well. We're getting it tested. It's shortly going to be running through the system to get tested again, to get approved by TCEQ, to be able to get it into our system. So we're way ahead of the game on that. If we were to hit the 0 day of, let's just say December of this year, where the water level drops below our intake,
Yeah.
which our intake is at 67 feet.
Correct.
Right now it's at 80, but remember, as
Yes.
it goes by quicker because there's less volume as you go down. We'll have the second well completed maybe by the end of May, early June, and that's going to go a lot quicker as far as the process
Right.
to get that pumping water. We should be okay, no matter what happens over here. But right now, we don't have that in, so we have to look at what we have right now.
Right.
And so this document, our DCP will be changing, within the next 6 to 8 months, at least another time,
Yeah.
to modify, how we're using water and what our water resources are.
Right.
But right now, we do need to update it to where we are and what we have. And so we did ask Corpus Christi to try to focus and see if Corolla could extrapolate more of a Lake Corpus Christi projection. So we could look at it based off what this is, because this is combined. And so they're going to see if they can try to get Corolla to give another graph and do another little update to this. So
Good.
we talk to them pretty regularly. Very responsive, very good people over there. They don't need a whole lot of time. We'll call them and they're usually available to talk because we're all in the same situation.
Right, exactly. And that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate your hard work on this, all of y'all and the staff. I mean, I had read it, so I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michael, for that explanation.
Mr. Garza?
Michael's pretty much touched on most of my concerns, but I guess a curiosity question or hypothetical question. Assuming that we weren't running so behind on schedule with our well and desal plant, if it was already up and running, we wouldn't have to be dealing with this at all right now,
No.
would we?
No, and I mean, you mentioned kind of behind on schedule. A lot of our schedule's been floating, but remember, a lot of our schedule, having to do the environmental part that we have to do,
Yeah.
which I think is going to go quicker on anybody wanting to do a project like this.
Right.
It'll go quicker as we have to go through with Texas Water Development Board. Those are long things that take some time, and we were still dealing with the tail end of COVID on supply chain and
Right.
pumps.
We're waiting for that big.
That's why it took so long for
Yeah.
that pump.
And so the second pump is gonna, the second well is not gonna be.
There was a wait time on the pump and we couldn't order until we had the money.
Yeah, they won't
We
let,
got the money.
and they won't let you order it. They won't let you
They
procure
won't.
it until
The
it's
money's
approved.
scared.
And Gabriel deals with that quite a bit, and so, yeah, he deals with them a lot more than I do, so, there's a lot of things that have to get done before they'll even let you order, before they even let us, break ground. There was a lot of things. we had
Streets
to
were
do.
out of our hands at the time.
Oh,
Now,
yeah,
were we able to get that pump after all, and is it
Every-
online and?
everything's installed.
Good.
They've done the testing of the initial water. So the wells, it's pumping water. The next thing is we need to get a couple of samples that are tested and approved, and then it'll run through the desal plant. And then there's another couple of testing and approvals, and then we have to get approval from TCEQ to be able to blend that into our system. And so we're going to ask for an expedited process on that. And that's another thing that we're looking at. If you're not in an emergency, if you're letting people water the grass, and that comes straight from TCEQ. Odie, your city clerk's been talking to them too about we're all working together with Norris Leal, with Seven Seas, with us, our water department on getting everything out there to TCEQ to get approval. And they can, their standard is it's 60 days to get approval, and it really shouldn't take that long on a project like this. We're not, when you're treating surface water and everything that goes into it, you have a bigger risk of bacteria and things that are in there, the chlorinating times, and And when you're dealing with groundwater, I mean, it comes out clean. And so it has, all you're checking for really is you're doing the the back T sampling, and then you're checking the CT, the contact time on it, with a chlorine. And so it's pretty simple. It's kind of cut and dry, because it's coming through, and on the surface water side, I can see how it may take up to, 60 days, because it's a totally different process.
This
on
entire
what you're
conception
trying to
was
do.
like, what, over 10 years ago?
What?
And it was
Oh, yes.
Like,
Yeah.
10 years in the world.
More than.
The world.
So we are trying to get the expedited, and this is going to allow us to be able to submit that as well, expedited.
Sounds good.
Great.
We are able
Thank
to
you.
get it expedited. How long do you think it'll take, till we start beginning to blend?
And I know we're getting a
I would
little
say
bit off the
30 to
agenda,
45 days.
Well, that's awesome. Good.
but just to get back in, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much for those, because I know that's something
Yeah.
that our citizens are probably asking also, because it's in line with the water and stuff. But just getting back to our agenda item, and I just wanted to ask our city attorney, is there anything that needs to be as far as clarification? I know you touched on some of on this plan that if we're not implementing watering restrictions and stuff. Anyways, just if you
Well-
can tie all that, or,
Well, what you're talking about, Mayor, was in regards to, because if we're gonna change something, we need to have equal action. Listed on the agenda, we don't have it listed as an ordinance. Now, the way this plan was adopted originally was adopting a plan, or adopting the creation of a plan by an ordinance, right? And we're not changing the fines or fees or those types of things from that original ordinance where it specifically sets out those fines, fees, and costs. All we're doing is we are making amendments to the plan that we approved through that ordinance. And so what I would request is you guys go ahead and approve the revisions today, and that if necessary, we'll look at it a little closer, but at this time, I think we're okay to approve the revisions as they are. And if necessary, we come back and we can always present another ordinance, go through the posting process and have a public hearing in those regards, if it's going to be necessary. But at this juncture, I don't think that it is. I think you're okay with approving the revisions.
okay. I appreciate that clarification. And council, if there's no, or Mr. Esparza, is there anything else? No?
Just to point out something that, as we're looking at this DCP and where we are, because where we are now is different than where we will be in 3 or 4 months. But, we would also be, we weren't looking forward to the desal that we're doing. We would be looking for emergency water right now,
Right.
like Mathis is doing and like Corpus Christi is doing.
Okay, thank you. Hey, council, if there's no further questions or discussion in reference to this agenda item, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve the revisions to the City of Alice Retail and Wholesale Drought Contingency Plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 6.6, here's status report on January 2025 month-end financial statements, summary of funds, and delivery of January 2025 check registers. Hi,
Good morning, Mayor.
good morning.
Staff. I just want to let y'all know it is March, but we're doing January just because of the meeting being pushed
Right.
up. So I just want to keep that in mind, that this is January, not February numbers. All right. So financials for the 4th month, general fund revenues are $3,684,430. Our property tax budget was $1,062,541, and year-to-date, we show collections of $1,387,010. Exhibit B, we have our M&O and INS of $3,840,848, roughly $576,000 above last year's mark. Going back to Exhibit A, sales tax was budgeted at $2,194,000, and we're showing $1,072,060, and that's through November, so 2 months into the year. Exhibit C, we have our sales tax budget versus actual, and this includes the month of December. December's collection was $655,514. 2025 budget is $1,645,000, and we have an actual of $1,727,575. Exhibit D, we have our actual 2025 versus 2024. We have an increase of just over 37,000 over last year. Exhibit E, we have our year-to-date expenditures for the general fund of $4,385,115. At this point, we'd like to keep our departments anywhere below 33%, and we're sitting just under 31% expended of our budget. Exhibit, I'll go to our last slide, basically comparing revenue over expenditures from this year to last year. Our general fund last year was in negative $1,041,891, and this year shows a negative $700,685. Again, that's without 2 months of sales tax. Solid waste was a negative $301,238, and we're at a negative $68,585. And our utility fund was a negative $585,243, and we're at a negative $33,958. So all being said, you can just see we are making improvements. There's still things to improve on. Our directors are working at it every day. We're making plans, and we're headed in the right direction, hopefully. And those are our financials for January.
And some of these still do include some of the insurance payments and stuff, right?
Correct, yes,
that's
and that
why
has a lot to do
we
with it, because
see a lot
they're
of-
front-loaded. A lot of them, you're exactly right, our software, our insurance, a lot of that is at the
That's
beginning of the
why
year.
we see some of those.
Correct,
Yeah, we're using
Mr.
cash basis for our expenses also.
right.
When we could be using accrual, but it's kind of hard to change once you've done it all this time. And if we were doing accrual on the expense side, which we could, but that would change all those numbers.
Yeah, we'd probably be
Journal entry
positive
on everything.
Right.
across the board if we were able to do that. but-
Right.
And,
Because we can't show that at
well,
this,
And that's the only reason I wanted to mention it, because a lot of times you see this, but
right. To see the whole picture, you're absolutely right.
Mr. Beltran?
Good. Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate it.
Mrs. Bowen?
Thank you.
Mr. Garza?
Not a problem. I'll get with you later.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
Well, I think you
Thank you, Gabriel.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it.
And then moving on to our next agenda item is executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapter D. The city council will now recess into executive session. Mr. Molina is leaving. Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure because we, okay. Yeah, we do. I was like, wait a minute, let me think. I forgot, Mr. Beltran. Okay, recess into executive session, closed meeting. It is just the following. The city council may enter into closed or executive session to discuss the following pursuant to consultation with its attorney, Texas Government Code, and subsection 551.071. 7.1, consultation with its attorney regarding an update on settlement negotiations involving the multi-use facility. 7.2, consultation with its attorney regarding finalizing water sales agreement. Okay, it is now 11:45 a.m. and we'll be going into executive session. Thank you. we're live already?
We do.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We return to open session. It's 1:18 p.m. Agenda item number 8, return to open session. Return to open session and take any action necessary as a result of discussions and proceedings. Agenda item number 7.1 and 7.2 pursuant to Texas Government Code, consultation with its attorney, Texas Government Code, and subsection 551.071. Consultation with its attorney, Texas Government Code, and subsection 551.071. Agenda item 8.1, consultation with its attorney regarding an update on settlement negotiations involving the multi-use facility.
Mayor, that was not an action item, it's just consultation.
Thank you. So no action on 8.1. 8.2, consultation with its attorney regarding finalizing water sales agreement.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Sixth Amendment to the water supply agreement between the City of Alice and Seven Seas Water Solutions, and authorize City Manager Michael Esparza to sign all necessary documents.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you, council. Moving on to agenda item number 9, adjournment.
May I make a motion to adjourn?
Okay,
Second.
we have a first and a second. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. It is 1:20 p.m. Thank you so much. Have a great evening. Thank you, everyone.